Ideas flow like river streams, building bridges with our teams, pitching plans and making waves. In this game we all stay brave. Rise and shine, ever rise and shine. Entrepreneurs answer the call. With a network, hand in hand. Amber UTech Launchpad stand.
Welcome to the Amber UTech Launchpad competition as we come to you from the Amber Group studio in Kingston. Today, 4 VIP champions of business are going to decide the fate of rising entrepreneurs competing for the chance to be accepted in the Amber UTech Launchpad. I'm Prince Graham Haynes, your host. The Amber UTech Launchpad Pitching Competition is an exciting initiative designed to identify and nurture the next generation of innovative entrepreneurs in Jamaica. This competition brings together some of the brightest minds with groundbreaking ideas across various industries, offering them a platform to showcase their startups and receive valuable support to propel their venture to success. Over the course of several episodes, 22 selected business founders will pitch their ideas to a panel of esteemed judges. Judges will evaluate each startup based on leadership, team, product innovation, market understanding, product market fit, and alignment with Amber UTech's values. The goal is to identify startups with the highest potential for success and sustainability. Today we have with us Deshaun Sabadia, founder and CEO of Amber Group, the fastest growing technology conglomerate in Jamaica. His name is synonymous with innovation, passion, and a tireless commitment to driving positive change for our country. Andrew Bolton-Fife, Incubator Manager from Technology Innovation Center, UTech, who has immense experience in mentoring young entrepreneurs. Nadine Matthews-Blair, Digital Transformation and Strategy Consultant with 13 years of executive experience at NCB. Michael McNaughton, Managing Director of Amber Group, who has a huge experience as a stockbroker and investment consultant. First in our studio today is Damoy Skeene, pitching RX Drop.
Hi, my name is Damoy Skeene. I am a serial entrepreneur and the founder of RX Drop. So RX Drop was envisioned by myself after my family member and as well as a close neighbor had issues getting their prescriptions delivered due to various reasons. So I took it upon myself to start something that would fill that role capacity and make it easier for persons to get their prescriptions delivered. Because one thing that is common is that we all need prescriptions, we all need medical assistance. So what the business does is it makes it easier for persons to take care of their health.
Okay, let's welcome Damoy Skeene, pitching RX Drop.
Hello everyone, my name is Damoy Skeene and I will be pitching RX Drop, your friends in health. So RX Drop was envisioned by myself after a family member and also a neighbor had issues having their prescriptions. The first one was that the pharmacy nearby did not have the medication that was needed. And the second one was that she was elderly and could not go out to the town and get her prescriptions. As such, we're looking to solve 3 main problems. The first one being, as persons age, they are less likely to go out and do stuff. The second one being, pharmaceuticals can be difficult to source and expensive as well. And the last one being, we're looking to service disabled persons who don't have the means of going out and getting those medications. To do this, we're looking to offer a unified set of services that can provide prescription deliveries at an on-time, convenient and reliable manner whilst utilizing our technological systems. To do this, we have 3 main service lines. We have the home deliveries, pharmaceutical deliveries and e-prescriptions. The home deliveries is where we deliver on the behalf of customers. The pharmacy deliveries is where we do a B2B service for pharmacies looking to expand into the e-commerce space. And e-prescriptions is where we eliminate the need for any physical prescription. It will all be on a system. There won't be a need for the doctor to write it and you have to bring it to the pharmacy. We have 3 main target market. So we have the elderly, which is the primary, the disabled, which is the secondary, and our complementary being the busy work professionals. So the pharmaceutical market on a whole has seen an increase since 2016 according to Statistica. And it is projected by 2028 there will be revenues of around 16.8 billion Jamaican dollars. This is the local pharmaceutical market. Additionally, the delivery service market has seen an increase since COVID-19. And when you look at it holistically, there exists a unique market opportunity for a company like this. In terms of our competitors, we don't have any direct competitors. However, you have large players in the pharmaceutical market, and they have a large customer base as well as a large capital reserve. However, I believe that our competitive advantage will be our web and mobile application that we will use and give to our stakeholders to create a unified ecosystem for them to use. I am a big believer in growth and also vertical integration. As such, distribution as well as e-commerce are long-term plans I have in mind for the business. We're looking for mentorship, board members, financial, legal, technical, and marketing support in return for 40% equity. So why now? For one, the market is ripe. We are an early market adopter. We have a unique market value. We have an ideal demographic. And why would customers choose us? Well, we're offering convenience, we're saving time, we're offering value to companies, and we make taking care of your health easier. Now, some risk and challenge associated is one, the competition, because as I said before, large players can pivot to something like this. Also, you have it where will be a slow consumer adoption, being that it's a new type of business. So there will be some skepticism before there is adoption. And also economic factors which is outside of our control, so like inflation and stuff like that. To combat this, we can focus less on competitors and more on our product offering and customer satisfaction, which is often underlooked in today's society. And also we can partner with pharmacies who have a robust supply chain. Our marketing and sales strategy for our acquisition channels, we are looking to target our ideal demographic using newspaper, radio, social media, and flyers. And something that persons have always said, which I want to clear up, is that nowadays, persons who are elder, you're talking about 60 plus, 65, they are somewhat adapted to technology. So it isn't like back then where someone who was 70 had no idea about how to use something that was new age. Nowadays you find old persons on WhatsApp, on Instagram, etc. So the idea of using a web app and also a mobile app doesn't only have to contain persons within the middle age to young adult age group. So that concludes the presentation.
Thank you for that presentation. I'm just trying to wrap my head around what is the product?
So the product is a mobile/web app that you can get your prescriptions delivered through without having to go to the pharmacy.
And are there any legal challenges to that? Do you need a license to do all of that?
Well, what will happen is we'll outsource all of the prescription processes to the pharmacy. So we just put in the order and they do their relevant processes. So if it's getting the pharmacist to...
Now my question is that under the Ministry of Health guidances, can you take a prescription online and send it to a pharmacy to execute?
Well, that's a good question. From what I've seen, I don't see any restrictions against it.
Okay.
But how does that, how is it different from what the pharmacies are now doing?
So for one, what we do is we don't just focus on one pharmacy, and I will touch on the e-prescription section of it. So for example, the e-prescription, you are at a doctor's office and you get an e-prescription. So let's say they put in your information in the system. It isn't just that, they use one pharmacy to fulfill that. If you live in Spanish Town and you're at a doctor's office in Kingston, our system will source the pharmacy that is closest to you and deliver on that prescription.
In terms of the cost factor, how would you benefit from that? Because I said the pharmacies are now doing that, whereby you can call in, walk in, and so forth. How would your product differentiate from what currently exists?
Well, what we mainly focus on is the delivery aspect of it. If it's that the person sees that this is an app or a service that they would want, then they would use it. Right, but we mainly focus on the delivery aspect and we streamline it for you.
No, and as to go back to the question in terms of the cost factor, would that be a shared cost? The customer would pay X and the pharmacy get Y and share that Y between, you're going to share that Y between yourself and the pharmacy.
So yes, so if, for example, the drugs is for 5,000 and our service charge to deliver is 500, they would get the 5,000, we would get the $500.
So you got a delivery app? Is that what you are?
Yeah, it's basically a delivery app.
Nidhi?
Okay. What about the integration with the insurance companies in terms of
Very good.
if persons have coverage and they don't have to pay the 5,000 out of pocket? Have you thought about that integration?
Yes, so that's definitely something I've been thinking about, but I haven't really figured out a way to work it in. But as you know, persons in Jamaica and globally, they rely on health insurance to subsidize some costs. So it's
Right.
definitely something that we want to add to it.
Okay, that'll be important because especially with the elderly, there's NHS
Yeah.
and a lot of them rely on that
Yeah.
support. So if they aren't able to avail of that online, that would be a difficult from a cost standpoint, but the convenience value proposition is strong.
The other challenge also would be is inventory. How would you take money to deliver something when you don't know if the inventory is there or not?
Well, that's again a good question. So what we are trying to do is we are trying to have it in a system where the pharmacies should keep up to date with their products, because again,
But listen, every pharmacy would have 5,000 SKUs. Do you think they will be able to upload all those SKUs and all those inventory on a daily basis as it moves?
well, again, that's a good question, but definitely that's something I should think about in terms of the inventory.
Veekle?
Well, I mean, the fact still remains that you're getting into a logistic space.
Yeah.
And I mean, a lot of the questions that are being asked are really fundamental to logistics. So there is some work to be done. I mean, from my perspective, I typically look for businesses where, the barriers to entry are a lot more challenging than you have demonstrated. So what you're doing, somebody else can do the same thing tomorrow.
Easy.
The pharmacies with their own, stickiness with the customers, they can do the same thing as well. So that actually, compromises your ability to scale in a meaningful way, unless you're coming with some differentiator, which you haven't adequately described.
So
In terms of a strength of a differentiator.
So again, our differentiator that I'm proposing would be the e-prescription, which is something that is not yet available in the market. I've not seen it in Jamaica or the
RX
Caribbean.
have launched already a full e-prescription solution just a few months ago, which Prime Minister Andrew Holness inaugurated. It was out in the news very, 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 very strongly. It's a very solid app. So it's out there. But anyway, thank you so much for your time and well done. Great presentation.
Thank you, Damoy.
Good job. Yeah, Hortons is doing.
Yeah, no, I think he's not thought through so many legs.
Yeah, but it is the pharmacists are doing it. It's cheaper for them
Yes,
now,
it's
and you have to
cheaper
look
for
at
the
the
pharmacists,
concentration
and
of
they
the
can-
government intervention of JADEP, NHT, and all those
The
type of
other
things.
problem you sit with that the pharmacies will not give their pricing
Exactly.
because medical pharmacy price is not regulated.
Right.
Right,
I can choose
right,
to lose
right.
60% margin. You
So the-
can choose
right, so the
80,
prices will
somebody
vary.
choose 90. So they will never want to expose what their price is
Exactly.
outside because they want people to come to the counter.
Right, so I think,
Yeah.
that variation is too wide.
I mean, in most part of the world, the pricing is controlled. Nobody can sell beyond a certain price. To standardize the pricing it don't exist in Jamaica yet,
doesn't
which hurts the end user because we are paying more money for every single medicine because somebody decided to load up their margins. But it's unfortunate we have this scenario in Jamaica at the moment. But none of the sellers, pharmacy people, will give their pricing outside because they will lose their
Exactly.
edge of.
Exactly.
And if you notice the pharmacy strategy, they put the pharmacy section way in the back.
Exactly.
They want you
Exactly.
to walk through
To
the
walk.
pharmacy and buy the
Right.
higher
Exactly.
margin goods.
Exactly.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah.
Strategy.
So the pitch was okay. It went as how I wanted it to go, but the judges provided me with some useful feedback that I will bring back to the drawing board. But as Mark Zuckerberg said, most ideas start out undeveloped until you start to develop them as you go along. And I think this is one of them.
Next in Amber Group studio is Sheree Williams with her project Veekle.
My name is Sheree Williams. I'm the founder of Veekle, the Caribbean's first peer-to-peer car renting platform that allows local car owners to earn additional income from their underutilized cars and gives travelers the opportunity to find cars that they like at affordable rates. The idea was born out of my own frustration of finding locals to rent cars from. Having been born in the inner cities, I saw the struggles of people, and so when I migrated, I always said that I wanted to support my own people and I would rent cars from them. But the process was overwhelming, to say the least, and usually end up with cars that I didn't like. And so for me, I just needed a better way to rent from locals. I'm here today to pitch at the Amber UTech Launchpad, and I think Amber can support Veekle, right? Not just in the startup phase, but even as we scale across the Caribbean in terms of distribution channels. So they have access to thousands, if not millions, of car owners and also international travelers to the Caribbean. So that's one. Another aspect is looking for technical support. We want to build out a proprietary hardware for our platform and our car owners, and also fleet management so that we can gain comprehensive data insights in terms of how people are using their cars. So that's like 3 things I would say Amber could assist us with.
Please welcome Sheree Williams with her project Veekle.
Thank you. Finally got the Veekle to start, right? All right. So when I migrated to the US from Jamaica, I promised to support the locals by putting money directly into their pockets. Having grown up into the inner city, I saw the struggles of our people firsthand, and so I would rent cars from them when I traveled back home. The problem is, every time I needed to rent, I had to text multiple people asking them if they know of anyone who rents. And most of the times, I end up with a car I don't like. 2019, I couldn't find a local person, and I spent 3 hours at the airport waiting for a rental. And again, I had to shell out hundreds more for a car I didn't like. I was pissed. And that's when it clicked for me that I needed a better way to rent cars I liked on demand from locals. And that's how Veekle was born. I created a better way for people to rent cars from each other, one that's convenient, affordable, and safe. With Veekle, owners can list their cars when they're not in use, offering a range of options for travelers. This helps car owners to earn extra income risk-free and ensures that travelers can now find cars they like at competitive rates. And most of all, everyone has peace of mind. With the Veekle app, we're unlocking a world of travel possibilities with just a few taps on your screen. We aim to be AI-powered so that we can offer users a more personalized experience when renting cars, one that they like, of course, whenever, wherever. We are excited to have partnered with one of Jamaica's leading insurance companies, ICII, to offer our car owners rental coverage, but on-demand rental coverage, so they only pay when their cars are being rented. And also, partnering with ICII allows us to strategically scale across the Caribbean in 8 other territories. I believe the Caribbean car rental market is ripe for disruption. And to be first mover in the car sharing space is a billion-dollar opportunity. When I travel, and I'm pretty sure when you guys travel, I want things to be easy and not expensive, right? And I don't mind sharing and saving money at the same time. It's like how Tour works in other places, but for the Caribbean. Peer-to-peer car sharing is on the rise. All around the world, more and more people are sharing cars with others. It's like sharing toys with friends. And when I think about the Turo story, Turo started with just 3 cars, and now they're a billion-dollar company. And I know we can achieve that with Veekle right here in the Caribbean. Spearheaded by myself, I am a certified public accountant with over 20 years of corporate and business experience, and I have a winning team. Kezia is a marketing guru, and Barry, our lead engineer, brings a wealth of tech and marketplace know-how. Our advisors and mentors are notable figures such as Olympian Zwedi Hewitt, YC alum Eric Sonier, and Silicon Valley AI experts Jordan and Radhika. And together, we are ready to drive Veekle to become a leader in the Caribbean's car-sharing economy. We've had impressive pre-launch and post-launch demand and coverage. We have won several pitch competitions. We have won hundreds of thousands of dollars in grants and prizes. And we've had a lot of media coverage. And we recently had our launch on May 13th, which was my birthday. And so far we have signed up about over 300 users and about 35 car owners who are rated to be approved. And we hope to be operational by the end of this month. How I think Amber can be a part of our story is by allowing us to reach those car owners and travelers much quicker than we probably could on our own, as well as building out a proprietary tech software, or hardware, for our platform, and also being able to help us with fleet management in terms of getting comprehensive data insights so that we can know how cars are being used. This would more so help the insurance company, which would in turn reduce premiums for our car owners. And I think this is an exceptional opportunity with Veekle, not just to produce strong returns, but also to provide value and choice and to have a positive environmental impact. And we'll get there by being different from our competitors, as well as earning 20% commission on each transaction. So when you invest in Veekle, you're not just investing in a female tech founder, you're backing innovation, sustainability, and helping the Caribbean to grow better beyond. So join me on this journey. I'll drive. My name is Sheree Williams, founder and CEO at Veekle. Thank you.
Sheree, absolutely love it. Absolutely love it. If the studio allowed, I would have come and given you a hug. It's brilliant. Thank you. I think your passion is through, your commitment is through, your character is fantastic. I've always said that I don't invest into products, I invest into people. Great people can build great products, and great products will build great nations. So well done. I must congratulate you. Like I said, if the studio allowed me, I would have come up to you and given you a hug by now. But
thank you.
My understanding is it's more of a private car rental that you can create if you have a car.
Yes.
And you're allowing customers to choose. Now, there are a lot of risks in this industry. When I don't know, how are you going to vet those customers who are going to borrow these cars for a day or two or three? What's your vetting scenario for the cars and the purchasers of those rentals?
So on the car owner's side, which starts with the insurance company, so they're doing their KYC due diligence first because you do have to switch over, so they become primary coverage providers for those car owners. But from a rental standpoint, I would say they have to submit valuation reports or ensuring that the cars are up to standard, and that's done every 6 to 9 months. We're also allowing them to they must have tracking devices on their cars. So that's one thing, that's a must. And we're also making sure that all their paperwork is in place. But even before that, we are checking their identities to ensure that they are who they say they are. So that's on the car owner side. On the traveler side, I think the most that we can do right now in terms of vetting them is just ensuring they say who they say they are. And our marketing is geared towards mostly travelers who are coming to the islands versus locals. Not saying that locals can't use the platform, but our target audience is travelers coming in.
In this industry, there is a lot of risk for scammers who actually intentionally create fake foreign IDs, do a lot of that. And I've been in this game. We run one of the largest tracking, fleet management and vehicle tracking solution in the world now. Amber Connect has become a gigantic company operating in 100 countries. So all your needs in terms of fleet management, all that is good. But being in this industry, I also know the risks of the fraud, the risks of those vehicles getting stolen because you don't know the customer. How do you mitigate with that? Because even the likes of large car rental companies in Jamaica, they struggle with theft on a daily basis.
I don't think they have so much of a system in place to combat that, but I think for us in terms of having that, your ID being verified and your face also being verified against the ID would help to mitigate that type of activity on our platform. So I think every business does have risk, and we're going to see how it goes.
I think I'm not worried about the theft anymore because we built some phenomenal AI tools in our vehicle tracking platform that it literally makes the car anti-theft by itself. But thank you, Nadine. Over to you.
I love this too, Sheree. And I love that it gives persons in the Caribbean an economic opportunity. So there's a win-win for you as a female tech entrepreneur, as well as individuals in the society. My question is around the logistics. I have a vehicle, I'm based in Kingston, and a tourist is flying in through Montego Bay. How does that work in terms of the connection?
So when they go to search on the platform, they're initially going to enter the location that they want to rent the car in, right? And so if it's Montego Bay, then more than likely your car probably would not show up unless you are willing to deliver the car to Montego Bay, which you would have chosen when you listed your car.
Okay. Okay. I share the same sentiments, and yeah, for a woman-led entrepreneur in a technical era, it's totally fantastic. I'm happy that Deshaun mentioned the whole matter of fraud, and so for which it is going to be difficult to combat 100%, but at the same time you're able to implement something else to kind of mitigate that level of risk. Right.
Yes.
So. Awesome. It's like you're thinking, what else can I ask her? I just love the idea, the convenience, the ease for travelers, even for us as locals. But really fantastic idea.
I'll put my car. I've got a Mercedes GLE 450. I'm not here for a month at a time. I would rather
as
let
long
it
as
make
it's
money.
under $10 million.
No, but he mentioned.
I'm out of the game.
Sorry, one of the other thing is, what kind of car you just mentioned?
It's a 30 million. It won't
Right,
out
so
of the
in terms of the
bracket.
cost for
but
rental fees.
They did say that, they will consider one-off vehicles.
But sure, you can always add the expensive vehicles
Right.
also
The premium.
with a higher tier of quality check of the customer.
Right.
Or maybe once I've rented 5, 8 times, 10 times, I can start exposing the expensive vehicles too to that customer. There are many ways to mitigate that risk of expensive vehicles too.
Right.
And I'm sure the insurers would also love it because the customer is paying for that insurance anyway. So, Michael, you have any?
Just one question. I mean, we would have heard in recent time the big hullabaloo around the ride sharing and regulations. The car rental business in Jamaica is also regulated under U-Drive regs or something like that. Are there any implications for this business not being regulated?
Not yet. Not as yet. There are no regulations because essentially we don't own vehicles. We're considered a facilitator. And so there are currently no regulations. I'm not saying that can't change in the future, but I assume that at that point in time, once we can prove the economical impact that we would have in not just Jamaica, but across the Caribbean, we should be able to work out something.
So you wouldn't be classified under the car rental?
Oh, it was.
Fantastic.
Oh, okay.
Well done, Sheree.
Yeah.
Thank you so very much for your time. Fantastic.
Great.
Thank you. Wow. This was a good one. I'm very pleased, and especially a female entrepreneur. She's thought through a lot throughout the process. And there is a need, and it's the big entrepreneurs, big enterprise car rental companies are the ones actually getting most of the sale. But there are so many small ones who want to have 10 cars to rent, 12 cars to rent, but they don't have a platform to rent from. So I think this fits in extremely well. There's so many private renters like this, Nadine, because in the vehicle tracking business, we get a guy who has 10 private vehicles, will come put vehicle trackers on them only with the sole purpose of renting.
Does your technology have the ability to shut down remotely?
Yes, we can immobilize
that is
remotely.
good.
We'll do all of those things, and we've got a full fleet management solution to manage the vehicles. All the tech she needs to run the business, we got it, all of it. And we can launch it like in a week.
Okay.
Awesome.
Fantastic.
So I just finished my pitch at the UTech Launchpad, and I am feeling so excited and relieved at the same time. I think I did well on my pitch based on the judges' feedback, but just within myself, I know I did well. Some of the feedback and the comments that I received, Deshaun wanted to put his car on the platform, but you know, his car expensive still, so we'll have to see how that's gonna work. And Nadine was like so supportive and excited that a woman in tech was actually presenting such an innovative idea, not just for Jamaica, but for the Caribbean.
Next in Amber Group studio is Camille Scott pitching ELAW.
I am Camille Scott, attorney at law, and our idea is ELAW Partner, which is a local ELAW solution. At Foundation, it's a practice management software with an emphasis on client communication. It will increase efficiency in the law firm, and we also have an educational component for law students. Well, at present, when you look at the complaints of clients to the General Legal Counsel, one of the main causes of client dissatisfaction is that they're not hearing from their attorney, they're not getting progress on their matters, and as such, that's something that we want to assist in improving with artificial intelligence. I'm terrified. As an attorney, we're usually on the other side of the table, assisting with the reviewing the contracts, and we send the entrepreneurs out into the world. Now I'm on the other side, and it's quite an interesting experience.
Let us welcome Camille Scott pitching ELAW.
Hi. As attorneys at law, we provide an essential service. So there are days when you wake up and you know you're going to meet with an attorney because it's the day you're going to sign that contract to purchase your dream home. And then there are other days when life happens. You're sitting at the traffic light, waiting on the light to change, and someone slams into the rear of your vehicle. And you have to be carried to the hospital. Now, after you recover, you think, I need a lawyer because I'm going to sue to recover all the money I just spent on the doctor, and I need to fix my car. So, depending on the legal transaction, it can last anywhere from a few weeks to a few years. So the quality of your legal relationship matters. Now, one of the chief causes of dissatisfaction for my profession is a lack of communication. When we look at the actual complaints coming to our disciplinary committee, we see that as recent as February of this year, the panel found, among other things, that the attorney failed to keep in contact with the client. And so the client was not aware of what was happening in their matter. This is a long-standing issue. As an insider, I understand what's happening. As an attorney, we spend hours drafting documents, researching cases, meeting deadlines, preparing for court, attending court, and based upon changes in the law, we now have increased administrative and regulatory requirements. Our ability to manage, or our inability to manage these competing tasks can be disastrous. You can have a dissatisfied client. A missed deadline can mean that the client has to pay a monetary penalty, and in a serious situation or in an extreme situation, the case can be thrown out from the courts. The stakes are high for us, and we have to change how we practice law, and we have to embrace technology. At its foundation, our idea is a law practice management tool. It really is a series of solutions that automates some of the common tasks performed by attorneys. Now, we envision that coupled with each of those solutions is an educational component that gives guidance on the law behind the solution. Now, this is not what you'd find in a dusty legal text, but rather is focused on the practitioner's perspective. Our solutions are geared towards attorneys at law, their support staff here in Jamaica, and eventually in the Caribbean. While the educational component is geared towards attorneys who just finished law school within the last 2 to 4 years, current law students, and also the attorney that needs a little refresher on a particular area of law. Now, there are existing solutions, but these come from overseas, and they're based on a US or a UK perspective. Our solution is tailored to our local laws, with an emphasis, of course, on client communication. No one wants to end up before the disciplinary committee. Now, we think the time is right. Research has shown that attorneys spend 40% of their time doing non-legal tasks. Research has also shown that 44% of legal tasks can be automated by AI and is currently being automated in the US and the UK. The global legal tech market was valued at approximately $28 billion in 2022. Legal tech is big business. Our team is still at the ideation phase, but we believe we fully understand the problem and we fully appreciate what this particular market needs because of our 20 years of experience as attorneys at law and as tutors at the Norman Manley Law School and elsewhere. The time is now, we believe. Judges in China are required to consult AI before they render a verdict. If they don't agree, they must give an explanation. Caribbean Court of Justice facilitates e-filing of documents, but most importantly, they just entered into a collaboration to incorporate AI into their research processes. Our own judiciary is now contemplating the use of AI to improve efficiency. A technological revolution is coming to the practice of law in the Caribbean, and we want to partner with AMBO to be at the forefront of that revolution. We are particularly interested in your ISO security certification. For us, that is the most important thing. And secondly, we're also interested in your software development expertise, among other things. And coupled with our 20 years of legal experience, we believe we can have a successful marriage of law and technology. I am Camille Scott, and my business partner Jeroma Prosmerd, Onfroy, and I would love to have further dialogue with AMBO to see if we can combine our passion for law with your passion for software development. Thank you.
Camille, absolutely fantastic, very novel idea for the Caribbean for sure. I have seen AI lawyer apps in US already.
Yes.
They already exist. There is AI law app for lawyers.
Yes.
There is AI law apps for law students.
Yes.
There are AI law apps for customers, consumers, and it's a holy grail of a single app which covers every single type of a client looking for AI law services. I think it's very interesting that you've come up with this idea. The biggest challenge to build any AI tool is the data. Do you have all the data points to load into a tool where, for example, if I'm a customer, I can say, okay, I'm in this problem, what should I do? And of course, the natural language processing will go get the information from the database, but the most important piece of that is the ability to get data from somewhere and then translate that data which is relevant to the questions asked and then build the entire answer. Do you have the data behind?
So that's something we're passionate about, and it's something that we have been working on, creating the processes, writing it out and putting it together. So yes, we do have that information, and we're very impressed with what AI can do with the information that we provide. So we are ready. We just need the software help to put it together, make it an app, and make it available on the
And what's
computer.
the monetization? Sorry, before I go there, I suppose a US app cannot help Jamaicans because the laws are quite different, or a UK app, or if there is an AI law app anywhere else in the world, it will be still non-competitive to Jamaica, correct?
Right. So there are attorneys in Jamaica that are actually using these overseas solutions, but the common complaint is that they can't use all the features because it's not tailored to our laws. So, you know, and as you can appreciate, our laws are very different from the laws in the UK and the US. So an app that's tailored to our laws would be very beneficial.
I'm not worried about the monetization strategy because everybody will pay to save money. If I want an NDA and if I go on a Jamaican, keeping in mind the Jamaican legal structure, if my app can build an NDA which is as per the Jamaican regulations, or build a contract for service, build a contract for HR, whatever it is, if it's all in the Jamaican legal context, I guess those kind of services any consumer will use.
Right. And we envision starting in Jamaica and then expanding to the Caribbean. But we also see where it can have global impact. as we look at and contemplate Jamaica 2030, and as Jamaica moves towards being the place to live, raise families, and do business, we see where investors are actually coming, especially in our tourism market. And they already come from a jurisdiction where they're accustomed to a high level of customer and client engagement and interaction and communication. Additionally, they already have their in-house legal counsel, they have their legal departments, and we believe that as part of their due diligence, before they engage and retain a lawyer in Jamaica, they would want to have basic information on the processes, the law, what to expect. We are not trying to replace the Jamaican attorney. No, we are an essential service, as I said before. But there is basic information that we can demystify about our processes.
But you will still take a lot of attorneys' jobs because a lot of things that I'm paying for now, I won't need to if I have a good tool.
No, we can't replace them, not at all. But what is happening is that we have to pivot and embrace the technology. It is an opportunity. So I believe my profession is a very traditional profession, or laws and procedures come from the United Kingdom.
So how reliable could it be? Let's say I send an NDA to my attorney, he will charge me $100 to check it out. But I will save that $100 if I'm uploading an NDA to your AI platform and you go check all the legal versions, etc., and it comes back with a better NDA or the questions that we need to ask to the sender of the NDA. It will take out some element of attorney work.
Well, the research does show that there are some legal tasks that are already being done by AI, blockchain contracts and that kind of thing. So it's already happening. And when we look at the United Kingdom, we see where this is the norm, and that's where we get our traditions from. So it's only a matter of time before this becomes a norm in Jamaica.
Sure. Thank you.
I can see the use cases around the research and the standard documents. What I want to understand a little bit more is the pain point that you mentioned that came out in the research around not getting updates. It's a pain point that I've experienced personally. How does that happen? Because normally what that requires is a workflow where team members actually enter the updates somewhere, or there's a process flow that's being scanned and the technology can pick up where you are in the workflow and maybe automate an update. How are you envisioning this particular pain point, which is the main one, being actually solved?
Right. So that is what we're envisioning, where the process is documented and the client can self-serve to see exactly where they are in the process. It's a particularly painful pain point because, as you can see, from 1992, when you look at the cases coming out of our disciplinary committee, how can it be that the complaint from for over 30 years is that the attorney is not sharing information about the progress of the matter?
Right.
I believe this is something we cannot.
We're almost run out of time. We have less than 30 seconds if you have any questions.
Well, as an attorney in training, I understand the pain points, and I understand the pain points from the lawyer, the attorney in his or her office. So this technology would prove beneficial, moving from traditional to pivoting in that way for greater change. So I do applaud.
Thank you.
Legal.
Michael?
And I think you're onto a good thing. I'm just trying to reconcile the pitch you made, which seemed to be targeting attorneys.
Yes.
With the process improvement, stuff and documentation, as against targeting end user clients like Dushyant was speaking to. So which is it? Is it?
Well, it's both. So, or in phase one, we start with the attorneys because we see the great need there. But we envision having a quick reference database and a knowledge database that would be available, with content marketing and with paid advertising. There are certain things that we can release to the public, I believe, on a general basis. Basic information.
And then the last thing that I would say is that young lawyers like you embrace technology very easily. All of the old cases and all of the people there who still have them big binder behind their desk. How will you get them to embrace it? How will you get them engaged? Because a lot of the clientele are still looking towards these KCs to do most of their major work. And they may be your partners, and you can actually facilitate
Teach them how
that
to use
process.
Chrome first.
Well, you know, I think a recent example is the fire. Most of us would have seen this fire at an attorney's office. It's scary as an attorney to see all that paperwork go up in smoke. So it's a early warning. It can happen to any one of us. So I think circumstances will force us to pivot and to embrace the technology. We don't have a
Thank you
choice.
so very much.
Thank you, Camille. Thank you.
Brilliant pitch. Thank you.
Doing the presentation was a surreal experience. This is an idea I've had for many years, and to actually have reached to this point and to have the panel show interest in our idea is an awesome experience. And I'm glad that we took this step and we are here at this point in the competition. Well, I'm trying to set an example for my kids. I tell them, go for your dreams. And so I'm setting an example to show them, see, mommy has had this dream for a while, and I'm actually taking concrete steps to bring it to reality. So it is, I'm seeing it from the other side, from the entrepreneur's side of things. And I am really excited about this process, and I'm glad that we took this step.
We have come to the end of an exciting episode of the Amber UTech Launchpad pitching competition. Amber UTech Launchpad is committed to funding 100 startups in 1,000 days. And the fate of the entrepreneurs you saw today rests in the hands of your esteemed panel of judges. In the next episode, a new batch of entrepreneurs with groundbreaking tech innovations will take the stage, hoping to secure life-changing investments. Make sure you tune in to witness their journey and support the future of Jamaica's tech landscape. Thank you for joining us, and we'll see you next time on the Amber UTech Launchpad pitching competition.